I would like to welcome to the stage our first speaker. He is the VP of Engineering at TransferWise and has been responsible for some amazing engineering efforts at a lot of really big companies that you absolutely have heard of. Ladies and gentlemen, please have a round of applause for Harsh Sinha. Welcome.
Thank
you
you,
feeling
sir.
good? You good this morning? Everything's all right?
Yes. I had 3 hours of sleep.
No problems.
So,
Why so much? Okay.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
All
Cool.
right. I know.
So, wanted to talk about scaling a global product with the full stack product thinking. So, first of all, 9:30 in the morning. Let's get up a little bit. You guys want to get up? I'm going to do this. I'm really going to try and do this. All right. We're going to say refresh rocks. 1, 2, 3. Refresh rocks! 1, 2, 3. Refresh rocks! All right. So, warning. No designers were harmed in the making of this deck. I am awful at the decks. So if you're if something is bad, it's all me. No designers were harmed. That's me, Harsh. So I just joined TransferWise 3 months in Estonia. It's been fantastic. Previously, built teams and products at PayPal and eBay. Spent a lot of time in those two companies. And what I learned building products and living in 4 parts of the world is what I'm going to share with you today. And what we're going to talk about is why it is important to think about the local customer as you are building your products. So, and the learnings of big companies, how we sometimes feel you can sit in San Jose or sit in England and build a product for the entire world, but then really not scale it because you really don't know the local customer. So let's go through this. So 2015 has been interesting. As of this year, half the world's population is online. That means the other half and my dad aren't. I don't get it. Like, he's an orthopedic surgeon, can do hip surgery, still can't get online. I don't know what's going on. But what does that mean? So if you look at the population of percentage of population in developed countries, which are online, it's like 85%, big market. Usually this is like US, UK, Germany. But it also means there's a large percentage of people in developing markets which are not online at all, and this is where the growth is going to come from for the next few years. If you look at developing markets also, that's where it gets harder to build products because most of the people are not building products in those countries. So, small teams with big ideas can have massive impact. I think if there's anything that's changed in the last 10 years with the internet is that you can have small teams. We've seen it over and over again, teams of 50, teams of 30, who can really, really scale a product and have a massive impact. WhatsApp, Line, all these companies had one thing in common, which they really got into the local market and figured out how to scale that product. WhatsApp scaled the product not from the US. WhatsApp scaled the product from hopping on the Africa and the Asia revolution of people not wanting to text because the texting plans were so expensive. So, how do you build a global product in a local world? I say tomato, you say, come on, guys, give me something. You say tomato. All right. So, local products, right? It's all about localization, translation, right? So we can just go in there, we can take our English website, we can translate it, it's all great. Nah, it's not really. Local product is more than localization. I'll give you certain examples. So, how many people have heard about the missed call? One guy there, right there. Lars, good job. Thanks, man. I did not plant him there. Oh, 2 people. OK. So the missed call is a very interesting concept. Most people, again, talking about the other parts of the world, they do not, well, it's not a misconnection. I don't know. You guys know Craigslist? Misconnection, male for female, female for male? No? I tried to look for Craigslist Estonia. I couldn't find it. So the closest they brought me was to Helsinki. So it's not that. So what is the missed call? The missed call is basically most people in India or say in Africa, a lot of people do not use prepaid phones and they do not keep a lot of balance on them, right? So they took this 1 cent or $1 balance and they said, I can have my phone on and have incoming calls coming to me, but I can't make outgoing calls. So let's say me and Lars, for example, are decided to go to a movie. We said 4 o'clock, we're going to meet tonight at the theaters. Do I need to call him I'm on my way? Not really. I can just call him and hang up. He knows I'm on my way. Nobody paid any money, right? When I get there, I call him again, hang up. He knows I'm there, right? people have built business models on this. People have actually built an entire company on this. So there's this company called ZipDial, which basically in 3 years has done 400 million missed calls. And what happens in this business model is that Disney, Walmart, the big companies will basically advertise using missed calls. Why does this happen this way? These countries are going through this big revolution right now of moving to smartphones. But if you look back, a lot of people are still in that process of moving from what we call feature phones to smartphones. Feature phones are not as smart. That's why they don't have the word smart in them. But you can easily get advertising if you're interested in something by doing a missed call. So Disney would work with ZipDial to say, hey, if somebody wants Disney content, they can basically make a missed call. And then we know your phone number, we'll call you back, and Disney will pay for the call, right? Sell your product. I think 50 million valuation right now. This is another platform that's built out. Wondering basically lets do lead generation, like I just talked about, callback service, voting. American Idol, Indian Idol, all these massive events are running voting through missed calls. You don't need to talk to anybody, you don't need to text. It's all free. So, what does missed call mean? It can mean it's a paging system. Pick me up, I'm here. You can call a cab by doing a missed call. Account verification. So, serious stuff. At TransferWise, for example, we are very worried about money launderers. We don't want the wrong people moving money around, so we need to verify people's accounts. One of the best ways to verify people's accounts is by knowing the phone number. But then people might not want to spend the money texting or putting in a code. Well, the way we could do it is we have a stream of phone numbers. When the person goes to the flow, they call the number, and we hang up after 2 rings. It's actually a common phone verification method already happening in Africa, right? Nobody pays for the money. Advertising offers, I already talked about it. Voting. If you were not in these markets, you would not know that this was actually something that is prevalent and the user expects it, right? So again, local product market fit. That's how you take a global product. It's never happened in the US, because you pay for incoming and outgoing calls. It still mind boggles me, but yeah, it's true. So local product market fit. Another example. So I spent quite a bit of time in eBay, and worked in different departments, looked at multiple products. And one of the things that always struck me, I originally am from India, was eBay was one of the first movers in the e-commerce play in India. Bought a company called Buzzy in 2004, and relaunched in 2005 with a new address, ebay.in. And they really didn't have as much penetration. Even today, eBay is talked about in the bigger players are Flipkart, Amazon, Snapdeal. Snapdeal is actually a copy of eBay and is doing way better, and now eBay is investing money in it because eBay cannot scale. Why is that? And the more I've thought about this, it keeps coming back to the same piece. Sitting in San Jose, trying to build a product for the rest of the world, it doesn't work. You need to have your engineers, your product guys, thinking about the local customer, having empathy with the local customer. Flipkart is now one of the bigger companies, e-commerce companies in the world. Launched in 2007, 3 years later. Their growth this is the 2013 numbers, 476%. They've been growing like crazy, while in the same year, eBay grew, I think, about 40. And the current valuation is like 15 billion, way bigger than eBay India. So eBay had the bank balance, the big parent company, the intent. They were the first movers because they saw that the revolution is coming with the Indian market. And they understood the opportunity, but they still couldn't scale it. And the reason was, global is not one size fits all. So what did give Flipkart the actual advantage? What was it? Building a e-commerce site is fine. You can do it. A lot of people have done it. Flipkart actually got into the head of the consumer. You guys know this guy? Walter White? Okay. How many people think, what's the color of money? How many people think money is green? Oh my God, really? 9:30 in the morning, developers, God. Okay, so most of my friends in the US especially would say, money is green, greenbacks, come on, what are you talking about, right? In the rest of the world, money is black or white. How many people know about black and white money? Wow. Okay, so a quick tutorial on this. Black money is money you have not declared to the government, right? Get it? Money laundering, black money, yeah? Okay, the wrong stuff. White money is what you pay taxes on. If you were working in a very cash-based economy, people want to pay for stuff with cash. They don't want to pay for stuff with cards. One, they don't trust cards because they're not used to it, and they don't believe people can, do all this stuff online. What are you talking about? My dad still sits there and he's got one credit card. It comes out of his closet when he comes to the US. Now when he comes to London, that's it. Never uses it, right? It's all about cash. So the Indian Flipkart company understood that. And they said, we will never be able to scale it if you expect people to pay via online payment methods. So just a fact here about India, percentage of total income that is actually taxed in a year in India is less than 10%. Think about it. 1.2 billion people, less than 10% are paying taxes. I don't know how the hell the country's running, right? But it's true. So people want to pay with cash. That was one big thing and one big observation. Two, people want to see and touch the product before they buy it. That was it. Like, people would not buy. They didn't trust what you're selling online. Like, it wasn't there yet, right? So what Flipkart did was took that observation, and they said, if we really have to build a big company, we have to solve shipping, and we have to solve payments. We can't do it with forcing the consumer to have credit cards. So they took and built a network, and they took local courier companies, smaller courier companies in the country, and they built an entire network. An e-commerce company built a shipping network in a country where labor is cheap. And it had to be done to scale the product. And they built something called cash on delivery. And what cash on delivery is interesting because you order something on these sites, and now it's become pretty common. Like Amazon's copying it, eBay's also copied it, and it's coming up more in Africa and different countries. But the idea is still the same. You have to adapt to the local market. And when you order something on Flipkart, not only can you just say it's like reserving something online. You show up, the guy shows up, and you look at the product so you can touch it. You can pay for it in cash, your black money, so you don't pay your white money. But people are getting even smarter. Order a shirt, and the guy will come with one size higher and one size lower. So right there, it's your virtual dressing room because labor is cheap. So you don't have to send it back and bring it back. Fantastic idea. The insight would have never come if it was not somebody who was close to the local market. So what about Estonia? Do you guys think Estonia is on the up and up, right? There's no, come on, black money, white money, what the hell are you talking about? Right? All in the up and up, right? Voting online, everything's online. This is my learning from the first month in Estonia. When I was here when Uber launched, the day Uber launched, and I took a few Ubers. I'm a big Uber fan. And the more I talked to cabbies, the more I realized that the Estonian cabbies will love Taxify. Why? It's because of cash. Cash in the Estonian cabbie market seems to be the bigger thing because you don't pay taxes on it. Black money versus white money. And Uber's global product is all about removing friction and having cashless transactions. We'll see who will win, but at least if you look from the supply side, the sellers who are selling the services want cash. Cool, great, so what? Building a global product. There's a reason why I highlighted build, right? Because you need engineers to build, right? Engineers to build a local product need to have customer empathy with the local customer. So we all know what a full stack engineer is. Come on, this one I should get a full hand. Okay, good, better. A full stack engineer works, or at least understands, all aspects of the application throughout the stack, right? I like the cat and the dog and the balloon and everything, the bells and whistles. A product engineer, how many people know what a product engineer is? Cool. A product engineer is somebody who can build but is empathetic to the customer, right? So you just don't build because you can build. You just don't build a product because hey, it's cool, it's engineering, I can do this, I'm so smart. No, you build what the customer needs, right? And you really understand and get in the shoes of the customer. Well, I'd like to introduce the concept of a full stack product engineer, and it's not just a combination of I can do database and I'm very empathetic for the DBAs. That's not it, okay? A full stack product engineer is basically somebody who is empathetic to the customer, but also full stack from a perspective of thinking of the end-to-end flow. So you're going horizontally through the stack of understanding your front end, your back end, but you're actually being able to think why a certain thing was built in a certain way. So I'll give you an example, and I'm going to leave you with this one. So going back to eBay, it's a marketplace, right? We don't own eBay. I can't say we anymore. Did not own inventory, right? That was the whole model. The business model is not going to change because there's a huge amount of profit margins around not owning inventory. But on an average, because if you don't own inventory, you can't control your shipping, right? And as the internet consumer has evolved, they've realized they want instant gratification and they want the items fast. An average package would travel more than 800 miles in the US to get to the buyer, which is, again, mind-boggling, right? That's what we learned. An average Amazon package would travel 80 miles. That's the difference between owning inventory and not. Buyers want an instant gratification. I want fast shipping, and I want predictable delivery. That's what I want. Doesn't matter, because price is almost the same. So, what is the engineering solution? The engineering solution is, I'm a front-end guy. This is going to be awesome. I'm going to put a distance nearest first sort, because I have locations on the item. I have the lat long painted. And I'm going to just let the user just, go decreasing, like the distance from me, show me the items, right? 5 miles, okay, great, I can buy that one. Not really. I mean, it's an okay solution. It's not really good. The product engineering solution is a little better, which is saying, hey, I don't want the customer to do any work, right? So it's going to be like amazing experience, and it's going to actually think before you can, you don't have to click around, right? So what I'm going to do, some code, hey, first guy with code. No, I'm just kidding. He's going to come and do more code. So the idea is, if you're logged in, if you know your location, the best match ranking algorithm for search that we use should have a factor which basically has an input around distance from you. Great. Sounds complicated. We could do it. Maybe if it'll be effective. We'll see. We'll run an A/B test. OK, cool. A full-stack product engineer does this. You follow the data. You follow the end-to-end experience, and you understand why this product is working in this way and why people are not buying that item. Items end up on the site because somebody's listing them. It's not because we have inventory. So somebody's actually putting in this data on our marketplace. And the key thing here is the location object. So how are you specifying location, and how is the seller specifying the location? If you think about it, people who know the story of eBay started in 1995, and the first item that was listed on the site, it was a consumer site, and the first item that was listed on the site was a broken laser pointer. So Pierre Omidyar started the company, and as an experiment, he listed his broken laser pointer, which was a cat toy, okay? And he's like, guys, it's broken. I'm an engineer. I've tried to fix it. Don't worry about it. It's worthless, right? Somebody bought it for $21, which is like, I don't know how. But somebody found it, first of all, and somebody bought it. Wow, the 90s, build and people will come, right? But there was an interesting assumption that Pierre made at that time. His assumption was, every item on the eBay marketplace is unique and special. So his broken laser pointer was different than your broken laser pointer, even though they were laser pointers. Well, that's great in the 90s. It's not that great when you're Toys R Us trying to sell Elmos. All Elmos look the same. Why does it matter, right? But that one assumption that every item is unique meant that there's another assumption built in, which is every item is available in one location, which is not true. So that broken laser pointer was available in one location. So when you start doing your distance math, you're like, it's available in New York only, so we're going to do that, right? Now, when you scale the same experience across Toys R Us, which has 250 warehouses, and you give them this to put in as your listing item location, and you give them one option to say, give me your location. Where is this item located? The guy who's getting paid $10 an hour in Toys R Us who's listing these items manually is going or through the API is going, OK, I'll pick the warehouse, which is near me or whatever, our main warehouse. That's where the issue was to begin with. After this data, everything we did, we have this data on location, and we're going to do this distance math. It doesn't matter, because when the user came to the front-end experience, he is sitting in California, or he's sitting in, in the UK, and he is doing a search based off this item being in New Jersey, but actually in the real world, there is a warehouse in San Jose. This insight was important because if a full-stack product engineer did not see this, he would keep tweaking the front end. And he would not go to the back end and actually change the way this data is inputted, so you can actually give us all your locations, all your inventory in different places, so that we can actually give you that information when you come to search to say, where is the closest item? most people, when we made the changes around the distance search, did not convert more because it did not matter. They still saw that even after looking at Elmo, doing the distance sort, oh, this item is 200 miles away from me, so I am actually not going to even bother. I'm just going to go to Amazon. That was a big piece that I learned over my time to say, how do you think through and through for the stack? All right? So in closing, going back to what I started with, small teams with big ideas can have massive impact. We've seen this. It's getting easier and easier to build products in the world. And if you're going to grow, you are in a global world where you cannot just grow with building a product for one country. But building a stellar product requires the local flavor. Remember missed calls. Remember what happened with the cash and delivery. And having the full stack product thinking. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent talk. So, all right. Oh, I'm in the front of the speaker there. Shouldn't do that. Now, we got a few things we want to go over. We had some people already asking questions up here. So I think there was a lot of interest in the black money versus white money thing and how that comes into, because that's a very different thing for us. But first of all, Jordan was asking about, what do you think is the single most important thing about learning in a local market? What do you think that when you're moving to a new local market, what do they need to know? Like, what is it like? I mean, you go to a new place, a new country.
So when you go to local market, try being the customer. Try using the product which you're trying to beat, or literally walk in the shoes of the customer. When I started working for TransferWise, the first thing I did was start to see moving money across different platforms and see how hard it was. I used PayPal, I used Zoom, I used TransferWise. Be the customer. Try, if you, another one, everybody in TransferWise should try opening a bank account in the UK. 3 months, I'm still waiting. Seriously, I'm still waiting.
Okay.
Yeah, so walk the shoes of the customer.
But there would also be, I imagine, a cultural element to that as well. It's not just, hey, open a bank account. I mean, learn, let's say you're trying to work for the Estonian market. Was it like do Estonian things or try to integrate yourself as much as you can into that culture?
Yes.
But then that must be much more difficult for a larger organization. I mean, it's easy, okay, well, you're one guy going to do that. But how to then put that culture into your company to say, I mean, let's say eBay's moving to India. Yeah. It's like, that's a huge thing. All right, guys, go be Indian? Like, what do you...
Yeah, no, it's a very interesting point. I think, so that goes back to the, it goes through and through the organization and the hiring process itself. Like when you look at people, you look to hire curious people. Like how would you build a product, not just engineering, for example? Are you curious about, one of my favorite questions in an interview is like, tell me about your favorite product that you use on a daily basis. And it starts from there. And the engineer will be, I like it because, the way it works and like some pieces of it on the back end. The product engineer will be like, I like the product because of the way it solves my problem or somebody else's problem. Start from the user, not from the design.
But is there some, I mean, let's take that example of you need to get into a new market. So then it's already been decided that, okay, at least someone from your company needs to go to that country, set up there. Is there some ideas or some rules or some guidelines about, so some of your people are going to need to go there, and you're also going to need to hire locally as well. You would know, do you send a lot of people or one guy? Or,
I mean, there's no hard and fast rule, but usually you want at least some part of your team, which is building the product, in the market, even if it's for a short period of time. Now, yes, if you're building a product in 160 markets, you can't do that you can have 160 teams all over the world, but then get closer. Like, for example, if you're in Asia, build a team in Singapore. And, PayPal actually did that very well and was able to then have a home base and then go around and understand the user.
I was interested as well. Like, you were talking about the way that you need to adapt to a culture. Yeah. But I was interested in the way, in some smaller markets, the culture may be able to adapt. And I'm thinking here of your Uber versus Taxify thing, where once, don't hate me, I used Uber once. I'm sorry, Estonian mafia. Okay, I did it. And I'm seeing like, at first the taxi drivers here were like, oh no, we want cash, that's what we do. But it seems like they are changing a little bit. Like now they're at least okay with Taxify in-app payments because they're seeing the threat that Uber. So there's some cultural change that has happened, but maybe it's changing more in Estonia because we're a smaller market, we're more adaptable.
Yeah, I think every market's different, you're right. And also, Estonia is, I mean, let's face it, like technologically more advanced, and people are like open to using online technology more. A bigger market like India, China, like just the number of people, you have to bring along a lot of people to do that. So yeah, but I mean, things will change. I mean, I'm not saying like in India, people are not going to use credit cards like 10 years down the line more. It's obviously going to happen, but it just takes time to do that. And as we saw with the first mover advantage that eBay had, they had actually 6 years, not even 3, because Flipkart was just starting.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it. Just could not do it because they were trying to scale the product which was built around the American consumer or the British consumer who has banks and who has a credit card. It doesn't work.
What about your experiences, let's say, transfer-wise, where you're still a relatively small company in terms of size, at least number of people, and you're trying to go from market to market. You don't have that many people to begin with to send in a whole army into that country.
Yeah. No, it's a valid point. So we just launched in the US market earlier this year, and we do have a US team, and we see US as a big market for us to around wire transfers and international money transfers. It's one of the biggest markets in the world.
Sure.
So we do have a team then trying to understand the US psyche, and we're hiring engineers. So if you want to move to New York, let us know. But looking for a really good full stack front-end engineers too. But you do have to put smaller teams there, but you can't, as you said, you can't just afford to do it all over the world. So you kind of pick pockets. Right. Like for example, Singapore is a great pocket to be where you can travel all over Asia and actually still have.
Oh, okay, so using regional hubs can be to your advantage. All right, so Singapore could be to get the Asian market, and then at least, okay, if you're not, let's say you're in Singapore and you want to go to Malaysia, okay, you're not directly in Malaysia, but you're pretty close.
Yes.
You could maybe even just being in the region will help you understand things a little bit more.
Yep.
Okay, interesting. Anything else from the crowd? Does someone else got a question or something like that? We have some microphones. Do we have some down there? That's the one we just asked. I just asked that one. You listening, man? Come on, let's keep up. Okay. Sorry, who is it? You, sir. You had a question. No, you just raising your hand. Don't do this to me, man. You're like the hot girl in the nightclub. Here I am. No, you're not. Anyone else? Is there? Yes, sir. Pardon me. Or do you want to just yell out? Maybe we can hear it instead.
Are you TransferWise does have plans for accepting black cash?
Ooh. Yes, that's on the roadmap. Yeah. Evading tax regimes.
As I said, we care about money laundering, so we have to be careful about that. Phone verification, missed call, call me. Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
So the answer is no, by the way.
Okay, so what other features of your website do you change for different markets?
Yeah, I mean, you look at, again, as I said, you go through the customer journey and the customer flow to understand how are people already transacting and doing the task without your product. So for example, in the US, there's a very weird thing that people do, which most Europeans will be like, what the hell are you talking about? We give our bank account username and password to companies. Who would do that? Tell me. Anybody in Europe would actually go to
But that means they can log in and just see your money.
Completely. We are completely fine with it. It's a cultural thing. It's just you go and set up an account in TransferWise, and it's something called ACH debit. So you have to authorize us, the merchant, to be able to pull the money from your account. Yeah. PayPal does it. PayPal lets you set up an account and say, add a bank account. Oh, this is going to be easy. You can either go the long way of doing penny testing, and you put in an amount, and then you go verify it to debit. It takes 2 or 3 days. Or you can just go username, password. I'm done.
Wow.
You would never do it if you're just building a UK product.
You at least want some trust. Let's say it's eBay. Of course. I would be like, okay, eBay's not going to rip me off, right? So, but then I would be more worried about a smaller company that getting traction might be hard with that. But then, okay, if it's cultural, then
I mean, it's part of building the product and the trust. But you would not even think about building that if you're just scaling a global product, just going localization. Here it is, bank account debit. Oh, it's not going to work.
Okay. 1 or 2 more. Yes, ma'am.
So what are the, thank you. What are the difficulties there? What are the most complicated things as compared to Europe?
Okay, what's some quirks of the American market then particularly?
Yeah, so if you look at the international, I'm guessing it's for TransferWise, so look at the international money transfer market. Europe is a little different where a lot of people transfer money because of, they have to pay mortgage in a different country, people move around a lot, people have holiday homes in I never had this concept. I move here, it's people say, I'm going to my holiday home in Estonia, and the other side is oh, really, you have a holiday home? I don't have one. So people move money, but like the people who are moving money are expats, a lot of them. In the US market, we've realized it's more of a remittance market where people are sending money home to support family. Those two products are very different. If you think about the person who's moving money to pay a mortgage, a person who's moving money to buy a house, he will wait for certain things to happen. He will collect the money, he'll move larger chunks of money, you know. But the person who's moving money every month for supporting his family is actually going to be moving the money at that time, so he's going to shop around and look at the best rate. So one person could be like, very conscious of the rate, one person could be very conscious of the the sequence of the scheduling, scheduling the transaction, the time, and so that's the difference, I would say. And it's a remittance market, so there's a lot of competition. There's much more competition. Prices are like going down to zero.
Very good. All right.
That's my cue, I guess.
I guess that's it. All right, I think let's end it there, ladies and gentlemen. Please, round of applause for Harsh Sinha. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate that. We have a little gift bag for you, all sorts of goodies in there.
Thanks.